So a bunch of institutions have come out saying, we're now offering anti-bias training, which like, great, I don't snaps for that. That's kind of the least you could do. What is it they should be doing? What is it that these institutions need to be doing in order to give away some of that power? Just like we were talking about before, there's this fear of losing the power, and like, it's okay. We all can have the power.
If you're not willing to give it away entirely, which, sorry, but I think you need to wrestle with that you're not willing to give it away entirely. And if you're not, figure out a way to share it at least. Think about structure and think about restructuring. These are hard, big questions. Yes, we're aware of that. But guess what? We've been living hard, big lives for decades and for centuries. Thank you, Gabrielle, for the snaps, right? This is like you are experiencing in the last, white people, you are experiencing in the last few years what we have been experiencing for generations. So yes, they're hard questions and you gotta think about it and you gotta think big.
Like honestly, this question was just so personal, and it's 100% true about sharing the space, but also knowing to give up power. And I think something that really has gotten to me personally, I'm currently working a project, and I am the darkest person in the batch. I'm not the only Black woman there, but the Black woman I work under is very fair skinned. So until she opens her mouth and is like, hi, I'm Black, please don't talk out the side of your neck, everyone kind of just moves on with their day. And I can see it when I get in the Zoom calls, the eyes start to pop out and they're like, oh God, I can't say this word, right? And it's like, it's very unnerving. And an experience that I had was I got told my course load, like whatever I needed to do, sent my contract, signed all of the paperwork, had my title. And this older white woman, she decided that I was doing my job too well, and she felt as though I was stepping on her toes, and decided to call the head of this program and tell them that I needed my title changed to something that I wasn't even doing, to like the possible lowest tier of billing and credits, because she felt some type of way. Mind you, in this moment, I was just like, we're really going to accommodate for this white lady? Like, does nobody see? I'm like, does nobody see how wrong and glaring this issue is? And the response that I got, it wasn't that I got the feeling that like people were inherently racist to me, or they were just like, oh, we don't like this Black girl. The problem was they were afraid of how she felt compared to my credibility, my career, me growing and elevating and saying, here's the work I did. They were more concerned that this woman felt inferior to me, and they moved mountains for her. And then within that same, I want to say maybe like 2 weeks later, I get an email saying everybody on staff has to come to a anti-racism training, and we're going to talk about diversity, equity, inclusion. And I'm like, do I show up at this meeting and just be like, hi, hello, it's me. I'm going to tell y'all the moment that y'all let racism just run amok, white supremacy, it showed up here on your doorstep and you didn't even notice it. And I feel like the biggest problem with a lot of institutions is it's people coming in where they're like, I'm a good person. And it's like, racism doesn't automatically equal like, you are a bad person, you are the villain in this story. It's your everyday situations that you're just pushing aside, and you're saying, well, so-and-so feels, you care more about so-and-so's feelings than the actual repercussions of my feelings, my existence, my livelihood. What does it matter if you can say we have a Black woman on staff, but the Black woman had to be rerouted and navigated, and her title had to be changed, and her pay was lessened, and all these other things behind the scenes. And I think so much it's about giving up the power, but also not recognizing that like you wield the power to do that. And like so often everyone's like, it's not me, it's not me, it's not me. And it's like, did you not recognize that in the moment that you said my emotions were important, change her title, that was a power play. And mountains got moved. And I think that's just my biggest thing with the industry in itself, people taking the moment to reflect and say like, I don't have to wear a white hood to be a problem.
What I want to see from our advocates, our white advocates, I'm not using the term ally anymore because that is passive, from our white accomplices and from our white advocates, I want to see you get it wrong. I want you to try. I want you to speak and say, you know what, this might not be the right thing to say. I might not be using the right language, but I feel this. And do so with the knowledge that someone on that call, someone in that meeting who looks like me, who looks like Pun, who looks like Gabby, might say, that's offensive and here's why. And you can say, thank you for telling me that. Thank you for that opportunity to learn. I did not know better, and now I do. I'm tired because of the dance that we are having to do, because people are so afraid to get it wrong that they're not willing to learn. You can't learn from that place.
Get comfortable with being
uncomfortable.
Because we've been uncomfortable. Like Angel, I think it was you who said it. We have been uncomfortable for decades and centuries. So welcome to the party.
And not just uncomfortable, but unsafe. We've been unsafe.
Unsafe, in pain, carrying burdens. And what you said, Mandi Jo, it's like, yeah, it's scary. And you're going to have to find the place in yourself that's willing to confront the fear and the discomfort. You have
and
to
the
be
ugly
braver.
Parts.
You have to be braver. Yeah.
The idea that as a human being, you have no ugly places within you to unpack and to unlearn and to like do better. We all do. Everyone on this call has what I call an ugly place inside that you're like, ooh, I got to clean that up. I got to clean that closet out. Mm-hmm. That is something that you have to actively work on. Mm-hmm. But if you choose to ignore those things, then you're not doing anyone any good, at least of all yourself.
Instead of called The Good Place, they should create one called The Ugly Place.
The Ugly Place.
I feel like we're already in it though.
Yeah. This is like the nightly news.
I think that for me, it comes obviously I have very different experiences than anyone on this call, and have been in a lot of like those backdoor ugly places with people who are trying to do it right and so afraid that it removes them from being able to act. And I think that what we need from leadership is the understanding that company culture starts at the top, right? We have a lot of artistic directors, I think, and Gabby and I deal with this daily with the work that we're doing right now. A lot of artistic directors asking people to come in and help fix their organizations, not understanding that you can't fix your organization until you fix yourself. So if you're an artistic leader saying, I couldn't possibly be part of the problem. Look, I hired this Black woman to come in and fix my company. I did it. That's not that you didn't do it. You haven't done it yet. So that self-reflection and really digging into those ugly parts of ourselves and not being afraid to get it wrong, because we're all going to get it wrong sometimes. I get it wrong sometimes. We all get it wrong sometimes. Like that, we can't let that keep us from acting, because that fear and that wall is not productive, and it's just going to keep things. We have to ungrip from the way that we've been doing things, and one of the ways that we've been doing things is just by not doing things. So that's got to go for sure.
Can I add on to that? Like something that you really mentioned around, we brought this Black lady in to come and fix our problem. I think so many times it's set up as like there's a goal at the end. There's a finish line that you cross, and then you're never racist again. You will never encounter white supremacy, rather than recognizing like, no, this is continuous work.
That's part of capitalism as it currently exists as well, right? Like this idea that you can hire someone to come in and overhaul a thing, but that thing can't be you, right? Like I'm paying you to come in and fix my company, to fix my theater, to fix my this. I am above reproach. I'm the one cutting the checks. You should not be worried about what I do. The fact that I hired you is enough. And that's another kind of like tenet of capitalist white supremacy that is holding us back from doing the hard work, because as you said, it starts at the top, right? But if no one at the top is willing to even do anything other than throw money at a problem, we're going to see a lot of DEI initiatives that pop up out of nowhere that do nothing.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing right now already.
And not only that, but like I was talking to Dr. Raja, who is this incredible diversity, equity, and belonging specialist. And what they were speaking about was how people sometimes use these DEI initiatives to kind of act as the like messiah for their organization, right? And then, also the martyr for their organization should they get it wrong. Like, we are hiring in this Black woman, this one Black person to come into our mostly white organization. We're not intending to change any of our structures, any of our systems, any of the ways that we work, right? We don't want to change our mission. We don't want to change our vision. We don't want to change what we're actually working toward. We collectively just want this person to come in so that we have the legitimacy of, well, we hired somebody to do this work. And then when that work inevitably fails, because they weren't willing to change any of the systems of oppression that actually exist, it's the Black woman's fault. And it's often Black women who are the scapegoats for that kind of work, right? Because who visibly, like, is so clear that we are inviting into our space. Like, clearly this is a Black woman. And clearly we've done the work because clearly we hired this Black person. Can't you see with your eyes this person is Black and we are now absolved? And so that absolution, right, that intention of absolution also comes with the scapegoating of Black women and Black people. Like, oh, well, that Black person is the one that came in and did this work. That is who is to blame for how this panned out. That is who is to blame. We are no longer responsible for our actions because we hired this person who is an expert on their experience. And then they get to say, well, I guess they must not be an expert on their experience and invalidate us because they weren't willing to do the work.
For any organization or institution out there watching this, DEI work does not just mean Black people. You hire one Black musician, you don't get a round of applause. Your work is not done. It includes every single marginalized group out there. So stop focusing just on Black people. There is a whole rainbow out there of people to invite and share the power with so that we can be truly diverse, equitable, and inclusive.